So we are back for another weekend of Championship score predictions, and we've got a big one coming up in the Championship this weekend. We've got a couple teams meeting at the top of the table, a couple of clashes down at the bottom as well, and on Monday night we've got the Steel City Derby. So I'm very excited to see what you guys are predicting for this week's fixtures. So as always, they will all be in the description down below, so you guys can please go ahead and make your predictions, and if you do manage to get any of them correct, your comment will be included at the start of the next video. So if you do go on to enjoy, make sure you leave a like, as well as that make sure you subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that, let's hop into these score predictions. And we're starting it out with a big one. We've got Leeds going up against West Brom at Ellen Road tonight, and this could be a really season-defining game for both teams. If Leeds go on to win this game, then the game they had in midweek, a loss against QPR, will all be put behind them. If they go on and lose this game, though, that really ramps up the pressure. It's also a very important game in West Brom's season, though. They're coming off the back of a defeat against Sheffield United last weekend. If Leeds win this game and Sheffield United win this weekend as well, West Brom will be 7 points off automatic promotion, and there'll be a little bit of a gap that's starting to form between the top three in the Championship and the chasing pack. So West Brom, this is really a must-not-lose game if they want to continue and hunt down the top two for the rest of the season. Leeds, they're in an interesting situation at the moment. Potentially, they're facing the repercussions of not really investing in that squad in January. You know, they lost the likes of Samu Size. They didn't get any more attacking reinforcements into that team. We possibly saw that, you know, in midweek against QPR, where they weren't able to score. They created quite a lot of half chances in that game, but weren't able to punish QPR. And Leeds will be going into this game unchanged, so quite an interesting one. I did get the impression that that game against QPR did hurt Bielsa a bit, but I'm in no doubt that everyone at the top of the Championship will be dropping points between now and the end of the season. So for this one, I'm going to back it to be a very tight 1-1 draw. Neither side at this point in time is probably at their best, so I think maybe they both take that, whereas FIFA's going to say it'll be 1-0 West Brom. And then we see Aston Villa going up against Derby County. The big news for the home side coming into this one is that Jack Grealish is back and ready for action. That's going to be massive news for Villa from now until the end of the season. There's no doubt in my mind that, you know, Villa's drop-off in form has coincided with Jack Grealish being out injured. There has been, you know, quite a bit of criticism over Villa's midfield in the past couple of weeks, but I think putting Grealish back into that side, that he will have quite a big impact coming back in. They're going up against the Derby side, who they themselves aren't in a brilliant run of form at this point in time. They've lost their last two matches in the Championship. Obviously, their last one being on Monday night against Nottingham Forest, which has got to have hurt Derby a little bit in that one. They had some chances in it. Martin Warcon had a very good chance, but couldn't take anything from that game in the end. At this point in time, a couple teams around the playoffs are stuttering. Bristol City have lost their last few games. Derby the same. Obviously, it's kind of a trend with Derby to fall off a little bit in February, but this is the sort of game where Derby need to stop the rot. I know they're light in midfield at the moment with players like Mason Mount out injured, but they just need to get something from this game to claw a bit of ground back from Bristol City. So for this one, I'm going to say I'll finish as a 1-1 draw. I don't think there'll be much in it between these two. FIFA's going to agree with me. Next up, we then got Brentford going up against QPR. Brentford are a really peculiar side in the Championship at the moment. At home, they seem to be absolutely on fire, but away from home, they can't replicate that. They seem to be having the same problems that Wigan are having in the Championship throughout this season. But Brentford at home, they are a force to be reckoned with. In their last 4 home matches, they've scored 14 goals, so that QPR defence is going to have to be on their toes. But QPR, they're going to be coming into this one with a lot more confidence after getting their first win of 2019 in the Championship, beating Leeds United in quite dramatic circumstances actually. Luke Freeman getting the only goal of the game for that one. Luke Freeman's importance to this QPR side can't be underestimated. He was missing for the last couple of games. You know, we saw his absence against Middlesbrough, and they really felt it in that one. You know, going forward, they didn't offer much in that game. I can see this one being quite an open game of football. Both sides can score goals, there's no doubt about that. Even when QPR were losing games, they were still scoring goals, and there were still some very good performances in there. But Brentford seem to be able to turn it on when they're playing at Griffin Park. QPR will be wanting to build on what they did in midweek, but Brentford at Griffin Park I can't look past at the moment. I'll back the home side for a 3-2 home victory. FIFA's going to say it'll be 2-0 Brentford. That'll be a good game, I think. And then we got Hull City going up against Birmingham. This one could be a massive game for Birmingham. Now, they had an unbelievable result in midweek, beating Bristol City, and that keeps them in the hunt for the top 6 this season. I've said it a few times on the channel so far this season, but Gary Monk is doing an absolutely superb job there. Considering all the turbulence that went on around Birmingham during the summer, what he's been able to achieve so far this season with this group of players has been absolutely superb. There's no doubt quality in that side going forward, but how well organised they can be. Hull have got a tough game coming for them in this one. Hull in the Championship at the moment are a really peculiar side because you never really know what you're going to get from them. At the weekend, they had an absolute disaster class against Brentford, losing 5-1, but they bounced back in fairness to them in midweek by beating Millwall 2-1 at home. In fairness, they did concede a little bit of a sloppy goal in that one. I think defensively, they are looking a little bit suspect at the moment. The same could be said in the game they had against Rotherham, where they drew that game 2-2. Birmingham are going to have their tails up for this one. They need the points more than Hull do at the moment, and I feel like that may just push Birmingham on, and we could see them having having a late surge for the playoffs this season, I will just back the away side for a 2-1 victory, with FIFA saying it'll be 2-0 Hull. Next up, we got Ipswich going up against Reading, a really big game at the bottom of the Championship. Reading really need the points at this point in time. They're currently joint with Rotherham on 30, and they had a big chance to pull away a little bit last weekend, Reading, as they did draw 1-1 with Rotherham. They squandered a few chances in that game, Nelson Oliveira especially having a chance late on to bury the game, but he somehow missed a gilt-edged chance, and so that's going to be playing on his mind maybe a little bit. He'll be wanting to put that right in this game against Ipswich. Obviously, being on loan from Norwich City, it would make the story right for him to be the scorer in this one. But this Reading side is capable of playing some decent football. The goal that Ajaria scored the other weekend was a fantastically worked goal. They're going up against an Ipswich side though who can be quite resilient at home under Paul Lambert so far. Ipswich have drawn their last 3 games in the Championship, and Reading have drawn 3 of their last 5. I don't think there's going to be much to separate these two sides. I'm going to say it's going to finish as a 1-1 draw, and that's not really going to do Reading much good, whereas FIFA's going to say it'll be 1-0 Ipswich. And then we've got Millwall going up against Norwich City, both sides in need of the points at the moment. Millwall have lost their last 2 matches in the Championship and are in danger of being dragged back into this relegation battle. They're only 4 points above the relegation zone at the moment, and their latest performances haven't been brilliant. The game they had against Preston at the Den, where they lost 3-1, they really struggled with pace going forward, so that's a little bit of a concern going into this one, considering some of the players who Norwich have, you know, the likes of Hernandez and Buendia, could cause absolute havoc in this game against the Millwall defence, which has looked quite suspect lately. There's no doubt that Millwall have the options going forward, you know, swinging balls in, which they could cause Norwich some problems with. Norwich at times have struggled to deal with set pieces, so that is an area where Millwall could look into at the moment. But Norwich at the moment are just looking absolutely fantastic. The strength of their squad is absolutely brilliant to see. Even when they have had injuries throughout the season, someone stepped up to the plate and delivered when it matters. We saw that last weekend with McLean getting on the score sheet, and as Leitner is back fit now, I think that will spur Norwich on for the rest of this season. For this game, I'm going to back the away side for a fairly comfortable 2-0 away victory. I would be quite surprised if they don't get the business done this weekend, with FIFA saying it'll be 2-0 Millwall. And then next up, we got Preston going up against Bristol City, a very big game in the Championship indeed for both teams. It's no doubt, I think, Preston's biggest game of the season so far. Going up against a side who has lost their last 2 matches in the Championship, it's a really big chance for Preston to capitalise and make up some ground on the top 6 in this one. And considering the record that Preston have against Bristol City in recent years, sorry Bristol City fans, I had to bring this up. Preston are unbeaten against Bristol City in our last 11 meetings, and Preston have won our last 6 against Bristol City. So we really have had some good fortune against this side in the past couple of years. The only concern I have going into this game is the fact that Ben Pearson is suspended, and that is an absolutely huge blow for Preston in our next 2 matches in the Championship. I saw a stat on Twitter today saying that Preston have an 18% win ratio without Ben Pearson. With Ben Pearson, we win 44% of our matches, and without him, it's only 18%. Without him, there leaves a massive void in the midfield. I know that Ryan Ledson can come in for us and hopefully do a job in the next 2 games. I've started to like the look of Ledson in his past few appearances for us, but he's not Ben Pearson at the end of the day. I think this one's going to be a really good game of football. Both sides need to be going for it. Bristol City can't be allowing this run of form they're on at the moment to continue and manifest for the rest of the season. You know, they've lost 2 games now. They need to stop the rot as soon as possible. Is it going to happen in this game? I'm going to have to back Preston to win this one. With our record of Bristol City in recent years and us needing a win in this one to really chase the playoff dream this season, I'm going to back us for a 2-1 home victory. FIFA's going to say it'll be a 1-1 draw. I'm nervous, but I'm looking forward to it. And then we got Rotherham going up against Blackburn Rovers. Rotherham at the moment are just turning into draw merchants in the Championship. No side has drawn more matches than Rotherham so far this season. They've drawn 15 already. They've drawn 5 of their last matches in the Championship as well. Going up against the Blackburn side who have been stuttering in the league recently, although they did put an end to that losing streak last weekend with a 2-2 draw against Birmingham away from home. It wasn't their best performance of the season so far, but I thought it was important for them to stop this losing run they're on at this point in time. Rotherham is a good chance for them to capitalise on Blackburn not quite being at it at the moment. They picked up a vital point against Reading last weekend, and these are the sort of games from now until the end of the season which are going to determine Rotherham's future. I don't think there'll be all too much in it between these two sides, and I'm going to back Rotherham to get another draw in the Championship. I'll say this one will finish as a 1-1. FIFA's going to say it'll be 1-0 Rovers. And then we got Stoke going up against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest are really hunting down the top 6 at the moment. There's a chasing pack below the top 6 who are all picking up the points at the moment, and it's going to be very interesting to see who can sneak in there from now until the the end of the season. I've got to say, out of all the sides, Forest at the moment might not be a bad shout to just sneak in there on the final day. Obviously, they're coming off the back of beating Derby 1-0 at home. That's going to be a massive confidence booster for them. It wasn't the best game of football to watch per se, but I thought it was a very good defensive performance from this Forest side. That's been a characteristic of them under Martin O'Neill so far. They've been picking up a lot of clean sheets in the Championship recently. They're going up against a Stoke side who have drawn their last 3 matches in the Championship. In those 3 games, there were elements of the performance that we're starting to see Stoke pick up a little bit in the Championship, but they're just not doing enough at the moment to get all 3 points. We did see Sam Vokes getting his first goal for Stoke last weekend, though, a very cheeky flick against Aston Villa. So Stoke fans will be hoping he'll be in form from now until the end of the season, but I just feel like there's a bit more resilience about this Forest side at the moment. I'll back them for another 1-0 away victory, with FIFA saying it'll be a 1-1 draw. Next up, we got Swansea City going up against Bolton Wanderers, and the news coming out of Bolton at the moment when I'm recording this video is that the players and staff once again won't be paid on time for February, and it's a shame to see really, because there were signs of life within Bolton over the last few games in the Championship. Although they did lose their last match against Leeds, I actually thought it was a very good performance from the away side in that game. Albeit they did get battered by Norwich City, but the game before that they picked up a 1-0 away victory against Birmingham. They're not completely dead and buried like a few people are suggesting, and they're going up against a Swansea side who have been really up and down in the Championship over the past few weeks. Their last game was a really dreary performance, losing 3-1 away against Sheffield Wednesday, but Swansea are the sort of side who can turn it on a knife edge. They've got players going forward who will hurt this Bolton squad, and they've got to get a reaction from that awful performance last time out at Hillsborough. I'm gonna back Swansea for a 2-1 home victory. FIFA's gonna say it'll be 2-0 Swansea, but I wouldn't hold it past Bolton getting something out of this game. And then we've got Wigan Athletic going up against Middlesbrough. Wigan find themselves in a bit of an awkward position in the Championship at the moment. They're sat 5 points above the relegation zone. I can't see them being relegated, but I do think they'll have an eye over their shoulder for the rest of this season. They're going up against the Borough side who have actually quite enjoyed watching over the past few weeks, which is a surprise given that they've been a little bit dreary on the pure list so far this season. But I read an article in the week about John O'B Mikel and the effect that he's actually had on this Borough side. I don't think that his importance to this side can be underestimated really. What he gives to this side more than anything is balance, and as he's able to sit in there and protect that defensive unit, other players are allowed to roam forward with a lot more freedom. Players like Wing have been freed up. Assombalonga and Fletcher playing as a forward twos also worked in Borough's favour over the past few weeks, and they're going alright in the Championship at the moment. They're currently sat 5th in the table. They've won their last 2 matches and they do have a game in hand on the teams above them. I'm not sure if I can see them pushing for the top 2. I think that may be a step too far, but I think they'll comfortably be in the playoffs come the end of the season, and for this one I think they'll go ahead and claim all 3 points in it once again. So I'll back the away side for a 2-0 victory, with FIFA saying it'll be Wigan winning 2-0. And then to round off the video, we got the Steel City derby between Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United. I am really looking forward to this one, as it is a massive game for both teams' seasons, there's no doubt about that. The last 2 meetings between these 2 sides have been a little bit anticlimactic, both finishing as goalless draws. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case in this one, as both teams have still got a lot to play for. Sheffield Wednesday, although they are sat on 47 points, 12th in the Championship, you never know, it's the Championship. They could have a late surge towards the playoffs. They are still unbeaten under Steve Bruce so far. It was a very convincing performance last time out in the Championship. Defensively, they've been looking a lot better lately as well, but they're going up against a Sheffield United side who firmly have their sights set on Premier League football next season. Recently, United have been playing with a bit of a makeshift defence. They'll be hoping to have players returning for this one. It would be typical of the Championship and all the drama going on at the moment if Gary Medine was the player to win this one for Sheffield United at Hillsborough against his former side Sheffield Wednesday. That really will be a dramatic one. It'll be interesting to see how the Wednesday fans would react to that, but I don't think there's going to be a lot in it between these 2 sides. For a score prediction, I will just back Sheffield United for a 2-1 away victory. Wednesday at the moment, you know, they've been looking good under Bruce at the moment, but United do have that winning mentality this season, and they're sat 2nd in the Championship for a reason. It's going to be a tight one, but I'll just back the away side. Guys, let me know down below what you think is going to happen in this one. But guys, there you have it. That'll wrap it up for this video, and there are my Championship score predictions. So do let me know in the comments down below whether you do agree with me or not. If you did go on to enjoy the video, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you do subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.